I didn't abandon my kids. We're estranged. It's time for grown men to be grown men, said Brian McKnight. And this is from y'allknowwhat.com. There's a family feud that is brewing on social media, and it doesn't look pretty. Brian McKnight goes to Instagram to respond to backlash he's receiving from his children. Yesterday, two of Brian McKnight's children posted on Instagram accusing the One Last Cry singer of abandoning them, and Brian insists that is not true. Now, this is the eldest son. All right. I see you, Marie. Shout out to everybody. So make sure y'all like this stream. All right. So I can't imagine abandoning my children, man. It's hard not to imagine the psyche of a man who can truly just turn his back on his actual sons and on his actual blood and creations. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't think there is any situation that merits the way my father has chosen to treat my brother, my sisters, and his grandchildren, one in which being his firstborn son, who also bears our name. It's insane to me to have absolutely no empathy for the type of life be introduced to us, to only become to resent us for that life catching up with us. It breaks my heart, but not for myself, specifically for my siblings and my children. They don't deserve this at all. Not, well, he put open, but I guess he meant to say not one bit. And I'm not letting shit slide. Not for 1 second. I've tried my best to take the high road and be the bigger man and all that positive shit. And there is a much bigger issue here when it comes to black fathers, especially in entertainment, that needs to be addressed. I believe there is a serious discussion that needs to be had, and a part of me truly feels like our story is the one to begin that conversation that will lead to healing a lot of young men and women with abandonment issues. It's time to tell our side of the story. Is it me, or does it seem like a reality show is brewing? Would it surprise any of y'all if this went to reality TV? You know, does this seem like a reality show could be brewing? You know, because that's how it seems to me. See, and this is his daughter, Bree McKnight. Daddy's little girl was never really a thing for me. Nobody understands what I've been through except for my siblings. Believe it or not, I'm not always the person I seem to be. I'm not always happy. And most of the time, I'm battling my own demons. Just like everyone else, I grew up thinking that things that happened to me and my dad's relationship was my fault. I grew up thinking that he doesn't want to come visit me because he doesn't love me. Constantly put behind other kids that he would call his own while I'm cast into a land far, far away in the back of his mind. I think she's talking about his stepson. And I believe he has a stepson and stepdaughter with his new wife. And I think this is where this is coming from. Because, again, he just married his new wife in 2017. I don't know how long they were dating. But I guess he's taken up the mantle of being a father to those, being a stepdad to those kids. And maybe they're feeling some type of way, you know. But this seems coordinated. The brother puts up a post and she puts up a post. You know, it sucks knowing that someone else who's not even blood related to you comes before you in every single way. It sucks knowing that my phone calls have to go through a stranger I barely know. My text messages are read without a response. Shout out to Ricky E245. What's going on, man? And that my stepmother tells me that they wish the best for me. It kills me to know that it's so hard for me and my siblings to get a word in, not one word. At a very young age, I was always second place in my father's heart. maybe even third, fourth, or fifth, depending on the situation. My father hasn't called to wish me a happy birthday in years, and yet I sit by the phone every single year hoping that one day his heart will change. I'm so fortunate that I have two brothers who are father figures to me, who celebrate me and love me every single day, and that we make up the time make up the time. I'm trying to read the chat and these messages at the same time. Lost my place, but yeah, I think y'all get the gist of what's being said. Screen just cut off. Hold on. I guess y'all get the gist of it. But she's basically blaming the stepmom. Now, this is the post that Brian put up. Brian believes that these series of posts from his biological children began when he shared a photo of stepson Jack and saying how proud he was of him for working at McDonald's and buying his car. Now, his stepson bought that car. One son 30, another one 27. Yeah, these are grown men. We're going to get to that. But these are grown men and the daughter complaining about daddy not loving them enough. Let's see. Now, this is the stepson in his car. Now, that looks like a car that costs a little bit of money. Do y'all believe? Now, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all believe that this young man worked his ass off at McDonald's to get that car? Now, I don't know. Could have got it off credit. You know, if you got good credit, you know, you can make some things happen. But do you think Brian might have put down on that car, yes or no? And he just take over the payments? Do y'all think Brian put down on that car? They saw Brian post this. Brian McKnight post this of his stepson in that car. Do you think they felt some type of way? Now look at that Charger. Now, did that Charger look like you can afford that on a McDonald's salary? I'm pretty sure when his kids saw this, they know Brian paid down on that car. Because listen, man, it costs money to drive cars like that. You don't see a lot of people driving Chargers like that. How much y'all think this car is worth? They saw this post. That's when they started hopping on social media trying to call out their father. Let's see. Here's my. Oh, this is a Challenger. My fault. It does look like a child from the front. But yeah, this is a Challenger. Here's my son Jack with his new Challenger. I'm so proud of my boy. No one deserves this more than you. No one asked you to, and you got a job at McDonald's to help pay for it. And we didn't even ask you to do that either. You took your hard-earned money and said, here, I want to help you pay for it. BKM, and I cried because I know that you don't take things for granted. You love and respect me as your father, not just because I'm married to your mother, and I love you as my son, period. Enjoy it, but take it easy. It's a V8. That's a V8. Brian paid some serious money for this. He paid some serious money for this. And he got a job just so he can help make the payments on it. And he's working to pay on it, say, hey, you know, I don't want you to give me something. I want to be able to contribute to it. But I'm pretty sure that this photo and this post, when he talks about how much the stepson respects him, how much the stepson loves him, that made them feel some type of way. I know that made them feel some type of way. Because they feel like they should be in this situation. They feel like they deserve what this kid has. Even though his mother could have helped him pay for it too. Now that's Brian. with his stepdaughter, and that's his wife right there. Today is Julia's 19th birthday. Seemed like yesterday she was just an 8th grader, just meeting her mother's future husband, but you are in college now and becoming such a wonderful woman. I'm so proud to call you my daughter. Happy birthday, Jules. And that's when I guess the kid was younger. That's them together. My wife not only is the best mother I've ever seen with Jack and Julia, but she also has the same love and show the same unconditional love to mine as well. And baby, that's just another one of the million reasons I fell in love with you. Happy Mother's Day to you and all the moms out there. I'm so in love with you, Brian. And that's the family again. You know, I think she could teach some of you women a thing or two about getting a man after having kids. Because it seemed to me that she's handling business, man. She got a second chance with Brian, and she's making the most of it. Got this dude out here paying for V8s, man. Come on, man. You got Brian putting up these posts. She's handling business at home, man. I can't do nothing but give her props, man. She's handling business, man. She got Brian feeling happy. Look at that smile, man. Look at that smile. Brian seemed like he's in a happy place, man. He's in a happy place, man. And you hear nothing about his wife on no blogs, trying to be on no reality show. Oh, she's a doctor. Okay. So she's making her own money. But Brian seemed like a very happy guy, man. He's putting up all these posts and, you know. Yeah, he did buy her a car too. Now, this is his son's. This is the oldest one. This is his other son. So Vern 85. That's him with his wife again. Okay, now I'm gonna play this video of Brian. This is his response. All right.
Hey guys, it's Brian McKnight here. I've been traveling about 17 hours to Guam. I have a concert tonight, and I got off the plane to some of the most heinous craziness I've ever seen in my life. That my oldest son, Brian, would post that I'm abandoning my children. And the reason why, I suppose, is because I have a new family. And I guess this stems from a post that I made the other day about my son, Jack, who I'm very proud of. Which isn't to say I'm not and haven't been proud of my other children, but I was proud of this one for the things that he did that day. We'll get back to that in a second. Anyone who knows me knows over the last 20 years, 30 years now as a matter of fact, that I've been there for my children every step of the way. Until recently. And let's be clear, my two sons are 30 and 27. Not 12, not 13, but 30 and 27. Now my daughter's about to turn 18. That's another story I'll get to in a second. I've never missed a day of child support. I've never done anything adverse.
Did y'all hear that? He said he never missed a day of child support. He never missed one day of child support, people. He paid, he divorced, I believe, his eldest son's mother and kept it pushing. Now, I don't know if all three of them have the same mother, but he says he was paying child support.
To my children whatsoever. I've always been there. I've always been there with advice, whether they took it or not. I've always been the sounding board, and I've always been the one that tried to help them achieve whatever dreams they were wanting to reach out for. I guess one of my only faults is I gave my children everything that I didn't have in the hopes that they would appreciate it, because I know how much I would have appreciated it when I was their age. I would tell you as parents out there, entitling your children is probably one of the worst things you can do, and I know I am guilty of that.
Y'all hear that? He says that he tried to give his kids everything he didn't have. And entitling his kids was not the best thing. Okay. It's thunderstorming out here, but excuse that unless the stream cut. Didn't know it would be thunderstorming today. But anyway, he basically said that his kids being entitled, it's on him because he gave them more than he ever had, you know. And now at the age of 30, his eldest son, because you know Brian ain't paying child support no more, so now they're like, "Hey, you still supposed to take care of us, even though we 30 with kids." All right, let's see.
Whatever reasons, I'm guilty of that. Tough love is a tough thing as a parent to try to institute to your children because you want to help them as much as you can, and I did as much as I possibly could. When I stopped doing that for them, BJ was 25 and Nico was 22. And it wasn't like I completely cut them off at that point. That happened much later. But I've been there. When I put them out of my house, I gave them an apartment for 2 years. I said, guys, this is it. This is the time to grow up. I'm giving you 2 years. I'm going to pay for everything for 2 years, but you're going to have to work or do something because at the end of those 2 years, that's going to be it. It's time to be men here, guys.
He's right. And let me just say this. I know that y'all heard the thunderstorm just now. That's I may have to cut this stream short. But yeah. But may have to cut the stream short. But Brian was like, man, listen, man, I'm gonna help y'all out, but after a while, you gotta be men, you gotta be on your own. You know? They want daddy to take care of them. 30-year-old Brian Jr. wants daddy to take care of him.
Guys, it's time to grow up. At the end of those 2 years, they hadn't done any of it. It was just right around the time that Leilani and I had gotten together. Leilani was working at Children's Hospital. And let's be clear, Leilani has been one of the only people who's been an advocate to keeping us together, to keeping us having a relationship, because she wants to have the nuclear family as much as I did. And they have spit in her face at every turn. She got them jobs at the hospital, $18 an hour with benefits, and with the option of the hospital actually paying for them to go back to school. They said, and I quote, that they knew they didn't want to stop smoking and they would have to pass a drug test. And the day I had the doctors looking into it, Nico's on there, taking a big puff, which is fine. If you want to smoke, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But what I'm telling you is that we have been advocates for them every step of the way. Now let's go to the part where we have.
See, that's the thing about being a step parent, man. You got to deal with the other kids, and that's why you have men who don't date single mothers because they don't want to have to deal. That's one of the things they definitely don't want to have to deal with is the attitude from kids, man. You ain't they daddy. You ain't gonna tell them what to do, and that's the same. It's the same thing when you got men who have kids out, and gets into a new relationship, and you got the stepmom that's stepping in there, and trying to help them. They don't want to be helped. They too used to being spoiled. Daddy taking care of them.
Been estranged. Again, we talk about abandonment. I'm not abandoning them. We are estranged, which happens more often than not in this particular situation. BJ broke into our home a few months ago, and he put X's on the eyes of our wedding photos.
Wow.
And then he put a photo of my first wedding on Leilani's vanity. It was at that moment, and after I heard him say, and was pointed to from other friends of mine that saw his posts on social media, that he basically said that I was better off dead to him than alive. I was more valuable to him dead than alive.
Wow.
And that was the end of me dealing with him. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see that not my last video, but the video before that, 42, the song was written by Brian and I, and it was directed, the video, by Nico. And I went on and I said how proud I was of Nico at the time, and I really, really was. He did an awesome job in that video. Even before that, less than 2 years ago, these are the two gentlemen who stood up for me as my best man in my wedding. So abandonment, deadbeat dad, I'll reiterate, I've never missed a day of child support. I've been there every step of the way. BJ, he talks about Jack's new car. BJ had 3 brand new cars before he was 22. I'm not talking about material things, because none of this has anything to do with money. It's about respect. Respect goes both ways. And even in family, there's a line that shouldn't and should not ever be crossed. It's crazy to me that people will just believe anything, and I thought it was important to set the record straight and let you guys know that abandonment has nothing to do with any of this.
He's right, and it's good that we're hearing his side. You're right, Severe. They had a job. They could have got a job for $18 an hour plus benefits, but they could not pass the drug test. That is on them. That is a them problem. Brian McKnight he's 50 years old, man. He's 50 years old, man. He is not trying to run behind them kids. And from what I'm hearing about what's going on with them kids, man, I see why. Sometimes you gotta let people go. And he had to let them go. You got a 30-year-old man complaining about not being loved enough, trying to go with the black father this. Dude, take care of your kids. Stop trying to stay in your father's pocket. At some point, I knew that my father wasn't going to be taking care of me. I had to take care of myself. And that's how most young men should be. They should have that mindset. Too many entitled people these days, man. I'm pretty sure Brian spoiled the fuck out them kids. And they didn't want to listen to him because they felt like they know more than him, and they didn't have to adhere to whatever rules he had going on or to his new relationship, you know?